Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to not another autumnal speed build. So yeah, this build is actually something that's very different from like 99% of Sims YouTube at the moment. And we're actually going to be building a spring inspired build. Now, if you guys are like in any way active in Sims YouTube and in the Sims community, you know that around this time of year, most people, and I say most very loosely because basically I'm going off of what my timeline looks like on like Twitter and what my sub feed looks like on YouTube. But most people, from what I've seen, tend to do only autumnal builds around this time of year, which makes sense. I mean, it's autumn in the northern hemisphere. It's like really close to Halloween, so a lot of people also do like spooky builds and stuff like that. And that's usually how I like plan my content around this time of year as well. So usually whenever, there's like a big holiday, like, like Halloween, for example, I will do at least one or maybe two spooky builds, in October, stuff like that, and do a bunch of like autumnal builds as well for like maybe like September, October, November, and then start doing like Christmassy stuff in December. But that's not really how it works where I am. I mean, I'm obviously in the southern hemisphere, so it's actually spring where I am. So I decided that for a little bit of a change of pace and as a little bit of a like palette cleanser, I would do a spring build because I really wanted to play around with some fun colors, some not like no dark colors like at all. I wanted to play around with a bunch of like pastels and white woods and just a really fun, bright, colorful build. So I decided to build a cute little cottage in Mount Komorebi actually, and I know this build doesn't really fit the style of Mount Komorebi like at all. Just ignore that fact and just pay attention to the pretty trees and scenery all around it because that's what I was looking at. So yeah, this is just a cute little kind of modern cottage. I mean, the interior isn't super modern at all, but for some reason all of like the white windows and the big glass like roof for the greenhouse bit that I'm adding on, and like the big windows in like the greenhouse bit, it kind of makes it look like that greenhouse area has been added onto the already existing house. So that's kind of why it gave me like more modern vibes. But yeah, it's not really modern on the interior. The interior is definitely more like, I guess bohemian would be a pretty good like style descriptive word that I could use. But yeah, so that's probably the closest style. But basically I just went for a lot of bright colors, a lot of pastel colors. There's a ton of different colors in this build. I think I used probably almost every color in the rainbow. I tried to stick mostly to yellow, blue, and pink. For some reason, those are always the colors that I think of when I think of like springtime. Those are always like the three colors that I like gravitate towards like naturally for some reason. But yeah, so I tried to use mostly those colors, but I did include a bunch of just different pastels and basically a lot of rainbow colors. I wanted to make this a bright and happy build. Now, if my voice sounds a little bit weird, this is kind of off topic, but if my voice sounds a little bit weird in this voiceover, or if I go like super like hoarse at some point during the voiceover and sound like I have a frog stuck in my throat is actually really sore for some reason when I'm recording this, and this is like a 20-minute voiceover. So yeah, if my voice goes funny at some point during the video, then apologies for that, but I can't really do anything about it. Hopefully it's just a like one-time thing and I'm not actually getting sick or anything like that. But yeah, so just cross your fingers for that. And then also, like I said, this is like a 20-minute voiceover. I don't know why it took me this long to build this house. I mean, it took me almost 3 hours to build this cottage, and I don't really know why. I mean, I was building this whilst I was in a little bit of a build rut. I mean, I have a ton of building ideas. I just don't really have a lot of like the motivation to get them done, if that makes sense. So when I was building this, I was kind of kind of forcing myself to just build and to just like keep going and see what I could get done. I mean, I could always bulldoze it if I really didn't like it, and I wouldn't have posted it if I didn't really like it. But I was kind of pushing myself to like just get done with it, or like not just get it done, but just to like continue with it, to try and see, you know, if I maybe I'll like it more once I have the living room done, or maybe I'll like it more once I have, you know, like the kitchen done or something like that. Try and just get on with it a little bit more so that I could see if I really liked it or if I like really didn't. But yeah, that's something that I kind of have to do a lot of these days, is just I tend to not like what I'm building whilst I'm busy with it, and then I just have to like keep forcing myself to keep going. And then once I get to like the landscaping, for example, I like really love the build. And that's actually what happened with this house. I ended up getting to, I think, the greenhouse bit, and then I was totally like in love with it. At that point I was just like completely in love with it, and I really liked the way it turned out. But yeah, so I think that's why it took me like 3 hours almost to get this build done, even though it is like really small. It's only a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, is because I was so indecisive, and I kind of wasn't on my A game, I guess I could say, when I was building this. So I wasn't building like super quickly or anything like that, and I was also really unsure about what I wanted to use. So I ended up experimenting a lot. So there are a few things that I did have to cut out, a few clutter bits where I just spent forever trying to figure out clutter, placing clutter, stuff like that, because yeah, this build is quite cluttery. I did end up going kind of overboard with all of the clutter in this build. I think everything should be functional. I mean, the like the coffee pot that I ended up putting on top of the microwave, I actually did that with the tool mod. So the coffee pot won't be functional at all, I'm pretty sure. But the microwave might still be functional. I'm not sure about the microwave. I didn't playtest those things. But honestly, do your Sims ever use the microwave? I mean, I know personally whenever I play with my Sims and they have a microwave in their house, they never use it, like ever. And I mean, even like the coffee machines and stuff like that, my Sims almost never use those either. I'm more likely to have my Sims use like the tea brewer, because a lot of the different teas that your Sims can make actually give them different emotional like moods and stuff like that, whereas the coffee maker only makes your Sims energized. But the tea maker can make your Sims like flirty and focused and confident and like all of those different kind of emotions. So I tend to play with that a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, those two things in this kitchen in particular aren't really the focal point. So if they don't work, then maybe just like delete like the coffee maker, and then you'll be able to use the like microwave, or delete the microwave and put the coffee maker on the actual counter, and that would work. But everything like the fridge and the stove should work perfectly fine. The counter island that I ended up putting in the kitchen, I ended up putting some bar stools, like technically not attached to it, so your Sims won't be able to sit in them, which is also fine because I do end up putting clutter on not on both of them, but on one of them. So your Sims don't really need to use them because there is a dining table. Now, I don't know if your Sims can route around the dining table and the living room couches the way I ended up doing the living room couches. I don't exactly know if your Sims will be able to route around that. So if they can't route around the dining table, then just delete one of the chairs. If you don't really care about the dining table, delete one of the chairs and they should be able to use the living room. Again, a dining table, not something I usually pay too much attention to when I'm actually playing the game. My Sims just end up eating wherever they want and wherever is the closest. So yeah, that's something that you'll just have to play around with a little bit if you end up playing in this house, and some things might not work, but everything else should work. The bathroom is totally plain, so that should work. The bedroom should also work. I mean, your Sims should be able to get to both sides of the bed. I think I did leave enough space for that, so you should be fine for that one. And then the little greenhouse bit just has 4 planter boxes in the middle that your Sims should be able to get to. And then I actually ended up using the decorative, not not really flower arranging table, but there's this decorative kind of table workstation looking thing that came with a cottage living actually, and it's just a decorative thing so you can place stuff on top of it, which is something that I did end up doing. But it kind of looks like a flower arranging station, so if you wanted to have your Sims actually work with flower arranging, or maybe even like the woodworking bench, you can just delete the decorative one that I placed and then replace it with like the flower arranging table or the woodworking bench, and you can have another activity to do, or maybe like replace it with, I don't know, maybe like an easel or something if your Sims wanted to get into painting. I think painting in that like greenhouse or like sun room could be really, really cool. You could have your Sims do a bunch of like paint from reference pictures of some of the plants, or maybe even some of the views out of the windows could be really great as well. So yeah, that's basically this whole house. I did end up actually putting a like small desk at the front door, like right by the front door. I had space for a desk and a laptop. So yeah, I did end up placing a desk in there, and the Sim has a really big TV in the living room. I actually also ended up putting a TV in the bedroom, which is something that I don't usually do. The only times that I usually put TVs in my Sims bedrooms is when they have like a really, really big master like suite, and it's like really fancy, and they have their own like seating area in their bedroom and all of that stuff. So think like mansion builds basically. I don't usually put like TVs in my normal bedrooms because when The Sims 4 came out, the Sims actually couldn't watch TV from bed, so it was totally pointless to have a TV in a bedroom because your Sims wouldn't like lay down on the bed and watch TV. But that was actually patched in quite a while ago, and I just keep forgetting that your Sims can do that now. So yeah, this time I actually remembered that it was something that was like possible in the game. So there's another TV in the bedroom, and then the rest of the lot is basically just a pond that I ended up adding, and then a bunch of landscaping. That's basically the whole rest of this house. There's literally like no front yard that has anything functional in it. There's no backyard. This is only on a 20 by 15 lot, so it's a very small lot. So yeah, there's literally nothing to do outside except sit in a chair that I ended up placing on the porch, and that's it. So yeah, it's not very functional, but you could probably, if you wanted to put this on maybe like a bigger lot, maybe like a 30 by 20 or something, then you could easily have space for like a backyard or a front yard and add some like activities and stuff like that if you wanted to. But yeah, I really didn't care about that because I wanted to pay more attention to the actual landscaping and using a bunch of flowers and all of that like spring kind of things. So yeah, I did go overboard with the landscaping as well. I ended up using so many different plants and placing probably way too many plants, but I love the way it turned out, and I hope you guys like the way it turned out as well. Now that's basically everything I had to talk about for this build. I'll probably mention some other random things as I remember them, but something that I wanted to touch on, because I haven't done a proper like news video about this here on the channel, is the fact that we actually got confirmation, I guess I could say, that there won't be another expansion pack for this year. Now, if you don't know, usually, and I say usually because this has never been confirmed as the like actual release schedule for The Sims or anything like that, but going off of what we had in the past, we usually got like 2 expansion packs a year, and then maybe like 1 to 2 game packs, and then a stuff pack, like 1 or 2 stuff packs. So in the past, we would always get an expansion around summertime, around like EA Play time, and then we would have another expansion in like October, November, kind of, to like prepare like in time for Christmas and all of that stuff. But this year, we actually got a Season of Selves roadmap. I think we got that roadmap around, I think like September, October, something like that, beginning October, end of September, can't really remember. But yeah, we got that roadmap, and they talked about a bunch of different things like base game updates. They talked about 3 new like Creator Sim kits. They talked about a, I think, build kit. They mentioned like confirmed we were getting a build kit. So like I think it's called the like what's it called? Like something about Sanctuary Vibes or something like that is the build kit that they kind of confirmed in that roadmap. And then they also talked about some other things like Defying Styles and stuff like that. So they didn't really mention anything in that roadmap of an expansion. And SimGuru Frost actually over on Twitter actually confirmed that that roadmap covers October, November and December for this year. So we won't be getting another roadmap until like next year, like 2022, like 2022. So yeah, we won't be getting another roadmap for like the next maybe like 2 months or so until the new year. So that kind of makes me think that we really aren't getting another expansion pack this year. And that's really, really odd because I don't think we've ever gotten just one expansion pack a year since maybe like 2018. I think, I can't exactly remember, but I think we've gotten 2 expansion packs a year every year since 2018. And so this is kind of like a really big like change for them if this ends up being true. I should mention that I'm recording this on Monday. You won't be seeing this until Wednesday. And on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, we actually have a Sims Maxis monthly stream. And they don't usually announce stuff in the stream, but they did mention something about posting a sneak peek. So I don't know if that's a sneak peek about a pack that they're working on, a collaboration maybe that they're working on, or whether it's maybe like a sneak peek at a new refresh that they're doing. Maybe that's what they're doing this year. Instead of giving us a second expansion, maybe they're going back and actually refreshing one of the older expansions, kind of like how they did with Spa Day. So instead of giving us a second game pack, they actually went back and refreshed Spa Day, which honestly, I would be totally fine with that. I just want them to tell us that that is what they're doing. Because I really hate this, like, not knowing if we're getting anything and stuff like that. Because I like planning out my content. I like planning stuff. I like being aware of what's coming, if that makes sense. So, yeah, if that's something that they're going to start doing more of and just scaling down the amount of packs that we get, and start focusing on refreshing and revamping some of the older packs, then that's something that I'm totally fine with. Most of the older packs could all use a revamp and a refresh. So, according to me, that would be totally fine. I kind of just want to know that that is what they're doing, because this is just like feeling really weird. It kind of feels like they're starting to push out more kits, especially because we actually have confirmation that the 2 kits that are still coming up is the Sanctuary Vibes kit that they mentioned in the roadmap. And then also, I don't know if this one leaked or if it was actually announced, but the Defying Style Boundaries is actually a kit that's coming out. Now, I don't know if that's a Creator Sim kit or a build kit, but it's kind of weird because that makes it seem like those are the only 2 pieces of like paid content that we're going to be getting until the end of the year. And I'm hoping this isn't true. I mean, I'm hoping that there's another, like maybe like a stuff pack or something thrown in there, which honestly, I'm kind of doubting that. But I'm really hoping that they have some fun base game updates planned. I think Frost also mentioned on Twitter that they have 2 unannounced base game updates that are coming up that apparently probably going to be big. So I'm hoping that's kind of what they're focusing on. I'm hoping that, you know, until we get the next roadmap, that they're giving us like these 2 kits, the 2 hopefully big base game updates that are hopefully going to either add a lot to the base game, or they're going to be like big quality of life updates and bug fixes. I'm really hoping for a good bug fix patch for the base game, because good lord, this game is buggy and it really needs some fixes. And then I'm also hoping that instead of giving us another expansion, they're actually focusing on refreshing some of the older ones. But yeah, so that's kind of just, it's kind of weird to me that they seem to be focusing more on kits recently than actual other packs, like stuff packs, for example. The last stuff pack that we got was paranormal stuff, and that was in January of 2021. But last year we actually got 2 stuff packs. So it kind of feels like they're like focusing less on stuff packs and more on kits, which I don't really know how I feel about that. This probably isn't the video to discuss it because I don't really have the time, because I have a lot of thoughts on that topic. But yeah, sorry for my like big rant. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. If you did, give the video a like. And if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. But I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll talk to you all in my very next video. Bye everyone!